Launching tonight, it's the Leafs Nation After Dark with this man, Zack Phillips. Zack, welcome to the team, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. It's been a pretty exciting weekend getting to announce that I was joining you guys. I'm excited about the show launching here tonight and pretty happy to be on the show here this morning with you guys. So thanks for having me.
What can we expect tonight, Zack?
Uh, first and foremost, I'm a fan. I've never posed myself as an expert of anything. I got to play hockey at a high level, but that was just kind of capped out at minor. So I basically finished that and was like, all right, I love hockey. I love watching hockey. I love being around it, listening to it. I love talking about it. And I was like, I just want to put this into kind of some type of recap to break down how I feel coming out of a Leafs game. So it's going to be basically raw emotion of what we just witnessed, trying to kind of encapsulate what the game was over the last 2 hours and 45 minutes. And it's also just back and forth with a chat, what people think about what happened with the game, hearing opinions, answering questions, and kind of just going head to head with people on differing opinions there.
Yeah, Zachariah, we're pumped to have you, man. A post show is exactly what we need here. But tell us a little bit, like, where are you from? How long you been following the Leafs? How long you been doing your show? Like, what's the background like here?
Uh, so I'm from Toronto, or like I'm from the GTA area. I've been following the Leafs literally since the day I was born. I'm pretty sure I was born and my parents put a Leafs onesie on me. They used to tell stories about sitting me down. I would be crying and I wouldn't stop unless they would put the Leafs on TV. Matt Sundin, favorite player growing up, who used to wear number 13, that kind of stuff. So I've been around following the team for as long as I could remember. In terms of media and stuff like that, and getting into doing this, I had started my own podcast. I've grown up around people who are currently playing in the NHL, playing pro hockey elsewhere. So I had all these connections to different people around the league, and I was like, you know what, this is what I want to be involved in some way or another. Started utilizing some of those connections, just doing some like regular podcast stuff, and then I was like, I want to take this and make it a little bit more Leaf specific. I just love this team, want to continue to follow it. And then that's what led me to start my own channels in the past there. And then that's what ended up leading me to having the opportunity to join you guys here. So it's just been basically doing this because I loved it more than anything. And I think that that's been the most important thing for me, is that at the end of the day, I just love this Leafs team as much as I might hate them, and people in the chat would get mad at me for hating them. I do love this team. So that's kind of the background on myself there.
Hate to love them. And Rosie, we went over it on the weekend. I think we're all three of us are in agreement on the whole Mitch Marner front. We're going to have that conversation a lot over the next 6 months. And sort of ironic, you're the third man into this conversation. Looking forward to the Leafs Nation After Dark tonight. A lot of people in the chat asking right now, will there be any difference to what you're already doing right now?
No, no difference in the post-game show. That was one of the things that I wanted to make sure was going to stay the same. From my standpoint, I was like, hey, when I was approached about this opportunity, is like, I want to make sure that I'm going to bring this show across the same way. I take callers on the show. I answer questions from the chat. People send me messages on the side asking things. All of that stays. I have segments doing play of the game, grades of the game. It's all staying. Like, it's not going anywhere. And then, Nick, you saw on Saturday night, I was lucky enough to have you come across, but I got these smelling salts here. I won't show them on the camera right now, but I have these smelling salts here. It's been something, people love misery. And I think that's why people like, especially Leafs fans, like joining me for the post game, because they're miserable a lot of times about the result or the way the team played. And then a lot of times they're like, you know what? I'm already miserable. Let's make this guy more miserable, and hammer away the like button. And then I end up having to sit there and do smelling salts on camera for people. So that's all coming with me. It's all coming with me.
Love it. It sounds good. I'm excited. I haven't hit the smelling salts in quite a while, so I'll be looking forward to that. Switching on to the actual Leafs right now, what's your take on the team right now? Like, where they're sitting, what they're set up and prepped to do before playoffs? Are you excited? What do you think they need?
This year it's been a strange one for me. The years in the past, I've kind of looked at this team as, you know what, they're this really good team. Every year you look at, I'm big into betting, and you look at the odds boards, they're one of the favorites every single season going in. No matter how the year kind of starts, it's always broken down the same, where they kind of stick around at the top. but it's always felt like, hey, maybe they're missing that piece. It's that bit of grit. And, we added it at the deadline last year in Achari and O'Reilly and McCabe, Shen, these guys that come to the team. And it's not just how they play on the ice, but it's kind of how they conduct themselves that you feel like, hey, maybe that piece has been missing a little bit. Last year was kind of a miserable season just from the standpoint of, look, Matthew scored 40 goals, so it's hard to say, but he has a down year in perspective of what he's done throughout his career. And it kind of draws all this attention, this negative attention. Marner doesn't hit 100. He hits 99. Nylander's contract is coming up. So all this like cloud is over it. The deadline finally comes. You add these pieces and it's like, hey, we're in a good spot here. We added it, but it felt like too much too late. Like it didn't change the identity of this team. This year, I felt like they added those pieces at the beginning. It took a long time for it to start to show here. And maybe the final turning piece to like turn things around and get it going was the Riley cross check to the head of Ridley Gregg. Maybe that's what they needed, as insane as that might sound. But over the last like 10 and probably even like maybe the couple games leading up to that Riley cross check, I started to feel like the character of the team started to show, where you're seeing it kind of infiltrate throughout everyone else, which is leading me to be a lot more positive than I was at the start of the season. I'm sure there's people in the chat right now who watch my channel. They were watching me go on there and just be like, I don't care that they won this game. Like the way that this team played tonight, it sucked. It was not inspiring. It was not fun to watch. And it doesn't lead you with this belief of like, hey, they can actually have success in this season. Now, the way that they're playing, I've started to turn the page. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys, oh, I think they're going to win the cup this year. But I think that they're much better positions to have success in the playoffs than they have been before. And as for the deadline and what they should do, I've been more on the side of just having a quiet deadline. Add for sure, but like last year when you go and you add 7 pieces to this team and go crazy, I don't think you need to do that this year. I think you kind of got some of these pieces around you. I think you're kind of set up in a good position here where a lot of the character and stuff has already been added to this team. I think you're seeing the rest of the guys adopt it. I want this team to get better, but I don't think you got to go crazy this year.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at TheLeafsNation.com. Thanks so much for watching.